Kids with ADHD can survive the symptoms of ADHD. What crushes them is shame. This is The Evolved Brain. I'm Lara Dawn. In an AI shaped world, ADHD is a design, not a deficit. Where science meets soul, a new paradigm of parenting begins. The future belongs to evolved minds. We raise them. The danger is not ADHD itself. It's the child believing that they are broken, that they are bad, that there is something wrong with them. I'm going to get real and raw, and trigger warning, I will be talking about sensitive things on this episode today. I'm feeling emotional. There's been a lot of things going on in my coaching space where parents have shared some things with me around shame. And I thought this would be the perfect opportunity to share with you on the podcast. So I hope by now we know that children with ADHD by the age of 12 receive 20,000 more negative comments about themselves compared to their neurotypical peers. I say that so much that I feel like I've desensitized myself. I used to cry when I said that. But take a moment and think about it. You're lazy. How many times do I have to tell you ... Why can't you be more like your brother? Everybody else got things handed in on time. You forgot your homework again? Oh, you didn't get your work done, so you're going to miss recess and stay in a class and finish your homework. No recess for you. Or being last to be picked. Or not getting invited to parties. All of these things create shame in our children. And the neuroscience says that when shame is activated, our children go into that fight, flight, or freeze response. Their nervous system is completely dysregulated. They cannot learn, and they cannot access their executive functioning skills from this place of shame. So think about it. Our kid has done something, and we're lecturing them, maybe punishing them or talking about a consequence or explaining to them again, or maybe we're using sarcasm. All of these things is stirring up that shame that's already inside of them. It's putting them into this fight, flight, or freeze mode, which means they might get very reactive or they might shut down. And then the lecture or the consequence that you're giving, you're probably trying to teach them a lesson so they learn for next time. They can't learn in that moment. And what shame can look like, it might look like somebody who's masking so well and they're overcompensating. They're diving into things. Maybe, if it's putting on lots of makeup to look beautiful, maybe it's like really diving into a sport that they're passionate about so that they can be good at it. Maybe it's surrounding yourself with a friend group or getting top grades. So you're committed to that to cover up the shame that you feel inside. Now, guilt is feeling like you've done something wrong. Shame is like you feel like you are wrong. You are bad. You're broken. There's something fundamentally wrong with you. I know as parents, we can feel this too. We don't know what to do. Lots of us are neurodivergent too. And we feel criticism. We feel rejection. We feel judgment from other parents. Maybe we're feeling judgment from our family members, our parents, our in-laws, our neighbors, the teachers at the school. And then not only are we feeling guilty for maybe not handling things the way we want to handle them or situations not turning out the way we thought they should turn out, but we feel shame too. Like there's something wrong with us. How can we possibly grow and flourish and evolve if we're feeling shame at our core. Recent meta analysis has found that children and teens with ADHD are 2 times more likely to self harm, and they're 3 times more likely to have suicidal thoughts. Adults with ADHD are 5 times more likely to attempt suicide. So these numbers are real and they are scary. And this is part of what put me on the path to opening the ADHD Village and diving into life coaching for myself and for my family, because I am determined my children will never be one of those statistics. So we know there's shame. We know that there are scary statistics when kids have ADHD, and it's not the symptoms of the ADHD itself, it's really the shame around the symptoms, feeling like there's something wrong with them, feeling like they can never keep up with their peers, like they're never good enough. Even when we're using positive reinforcement, I feel like that can even internalize shame. When you do this, then you get a reward. But if you don't accomplish this, then you don't get the reward. It's like your worth is tied up in like what you do and how you perform. There's a quote that one of my mentors always uses: "You were born worthy and nothing has changed." People with ADHD are more likely to suffer from rejection sensitivity dysphoria. They're more likely to drop out of school, get fired from jobs, have relationships that break up, end up in jail, turn to drugs. What are we going to do about it? Will you join me on a mission of like, let's change this. Let's change the way the world treats children with ADHD. Can I hear like a yes? In the comments of wherever you're watching this, type in a yes. Let me know if you are on board with me. And the way we change this shame, it starts with the adults. All of us, whether we're parents or teachers or next door neighbors, all of us. Let's be really mindful of our words. "You're lazy" can hurt deeply. Can we, first of all, regulate ourselves before we enter in any kind of situation with our kids? So if we are feeling emotionally dysregulated ourselves, if we're feeling overwhelmed, frustrated, angry, that's not the time to engage with our kids. Like, let's regulate ourselves, take a breath so that words don't come out that will be harmful. And secondly, like let's really be mindful and choose our words carefully in a way that's helpful. A child who reaches out and hits or punches or kicks or spits or bites or whatever another child, they're not doing that because they're a bad kid. There's a reason. That's behavior. It's undesirable behavior. I'm not saying it's okay, but what's underneath it? Is it a dysregulated nervous system? Is it a child who's feeling lost and overwhelmed? Is it a child who feels left out? A lot of these angry, prickly kind of behaviors, biting, yelling, kicking, throwing things. Underneath is pain, shame, hurt. You know the expression, hurt people hurt people? So if your child is acting out, rather than focusing on like, how do I stop them from hitting and kicking and biting and yelling and screaming, let's back it way up. Get to the human, what's underneath, and what is underneath is a dysregulated nervous system and pain. For example, a child uses their hands to hurt. We might say instinctively, like maybe this is how we were raised, like, don't do that, that's wrong, that's bad, keep your hands off, no hurting, how would you like it if someone did that to you? But if we can just give a little bit of separation between the behavior and the person, that will be helpful. So like your hands are having a hard time right now. What can your hands do instead? Or your brain is overloaded right now. Something is making this hard. So it's not about the kid. Even when we talk about feelings, I'm really careful not to say, I am sad. I am disappointed. I am frustrated. Because over time, that's how I identify myself, a sad, frustrated, mad, lonely, whatever person. No, those are just my feelings, and feelings move through my body. Right? Feelings come, feelings go. They're not there forever. So we often try to help our children with emotional language and labeling their feelings. So just be mindful. It is helpful to identify the feeling. Like it looks like you might be feeling sad right now. You might be feeling sad right now, not you are sad right now. So language really matters. And also, what are you making the child's behavior mean? Because if you're looking at your child's behavior and you're thinking they're dysregulated, they need help, they're in pain, if those are your thoughts, you're more likely to feel compassion and be able to help your child through. But if your thoughts are this child is disrespectful, they're rude, they're embarrassing me in public, then you're more likely, if those are your thoughts, you're more likely to feel maybe embarrassed or frustrated. And then you're more likely to say something from a reactive, dysregulated state that can be harmful. This is the, the work that I do in Warrior Mamas. So many mamas are carrying shame, maybe from their childhood, from their own neurodivergent childhood, from their own traumas that they've had. And then our children trigger that in us. We get triggered by people making comments or judging. We can get triggered by seeing things on social media, maybe a really happy family and your family's, never gets along or whatever it is. That triggers that inside feeling in us, often of sadness, pain, and shame. And on one of my Warrior Mama calls recently, we had a great conversation about when there's that shame inside of you. You don't want to talk about it. It's painful to talk about. You don't want people to know that about you. But when you talk about it, you let it out, you let some light on it, it doesn't hold the same power. And more than just talking about it, because our talking and our logic and our conscious brain is only 10%. The work we do in Warrior Mamas is somatic, it's in the body. So we're able to process these deep feelings, these deep painful feelings through body work and also through the talking piece. This helps if you're carrying shame and guilt and fear yourself as a parent, and then your child has this stuff, it can be triggering for you, and then you trigger them, they trigger you, you trigger them, and it's like, this is how the families become dysregulated, chaotic, everybody's always fighting, and there's lots of pain and shame and suffering. If you're experiencing this, reach out to me. Ask me about Warrior Mamas. This is my passion, helping parents through this. With your kids, number one is always taking care of yourself. So recognizing that shame and pain inside of you, getting some help to sort through that. So whether it's through Warrior Mamas or a therapist or whatever it is. For your kids, being mindful of your energy when you're with them, being really careful with your words. And we're parents, we're humans, we're going to make mistakes, we're going to mess it up. The repair work is really important. So if you say something and you noticed later on, maybe even once you've cooled down, that you wish you hadn't said it that way, that's okay to tell your kid later. Like, listen, I said this, that's not really what I meant. I'm sorry. I know that was hurtful. I should have said blah, blah, blah. On the last episode, Dr. Hallowell, if you haven't listened to it, I think it's episode 8. Yes, episode 8. Dr. Hallowell talks about the best things that parents can do to help their kids with ADHD and how we can look at ADHD traits with this evolved lens and look at the traits and how they become strengths. And also, Dr. Hallowell has this analogy. He's really mindful not to bring shame to the people that he works with. So he'll tell kids, you've got this race car Ferrari engine for a brain. It's fast moving, it's creative, it's wonderful, it's full of energy. but your brakes are bicycle brakes. So we need to work on the brakes. And then he says, and I'm a brake specialist, so I can help you with that. So do you want me to help you like be a really fast race car driver? And then, like, that's such a beautiful way to think about it. Instead of there's something wrong with you, you need to go to a therapist. If you haven't listened to episode 8, I recommend you go back and listen to that. But he did share that the number one thing that you can do for your child is love them. And it seems like so simple and like it should be so easy. And there's so many parents who do say to me, I love my kid, but I don't like them because it's hard. It's challenging. They're triggering you. They're opening up all those old wounds. So how can you love your child in a way that they receive the love? That's the really key piece. I'm sure many of you have heard of the 5 love languages. The book that I'm holding up right now is the teenager version. It's called A Teen's Guide to the 5 Love Languages. It's by Gary Chapman. I will put a link in the comments. It's a fantastic book. You can read the books, you can go online, there's quizzes online, and I highly recommend that you figure out what is your child's love language and what is your love language. Because chances are, whatever your love language is, that's the way you're expressing love. That's the way you naturally express love to your partner, to your child, to your friends, your parents. But if that's not their love language, they're not receiving it. So I could say to my son 1,000 times, I love you. I love you. I'm so proud of you. That was really kind and thoughtful of you to cut the grass. I didn't even have to ask you. You just went out and did it. That shows me that you're so responsible. I'm so lucky that you did that for me. Like I could use all of those beautiful words of affirmation. But if my son's love language is not words of affirmation, he's not going to feel the love the way I'm giving it. So the 5 love languages, if you don't know what they are, there's gifts, acts of service, quality time, words of affirmation, and touch. So take the quiz, find out what your love language is, find out what your child's love language is, and then communicate your love to your child in their love language. If their love language is touch, maybe they need a really big hug after school. When you walk by them, you just intentionally give their arm a squeeze. Those are things that would show them love in their love language. For every one negative comment a child receives, they need 10 positives to counteract it. So this is the negativity bias. 90% of our thoughts are automatic and negative. We tend to hang on to those negative things. So, the teacher says, you didn't get your homework done last night. You need to stay in at recess and finish it, which, by the way, please never do that. Even prisoners get 2 hours of outdoor time a day. Please, public service announcement, do not take recess away from a kid. So now not only are they, sorry, I'm going on my ADHD tangent, but not only are they being shamed for not getting the work done and punished and humiliated in front of all their peers who see that they don't get to come out for recess because they have to do their work, and they're probably internalizing it. It's because they're dumb, they're stupid, they're bad. They're not getting the outside time. They're not getting the benefits of the sunlight, the fresh air, the change in frequency of the energy compared to the indoors with the artificial lights and the hums of the computers and everything. They're not getting to move their bodies freely. They're not getting to play or have quiet time. Recess helps them to regulate their nervous systems in most cases, right? So don't take the recess away. That one thing happened at school, let's say, now that child is going to need 10 positives to counteract. Well, probably they're going to just get more and more negative. Their friend's going to say, haha, you didn't get to come out for recess. Then the kid's feeling crummy. And then the next period, he pushes a kid and now he's really in big trouble. Now he's sitting in the office. And then the parents pick him up from school and he's getting lectured the whole way home. And parents are so upset now they've taken away his PlayStation and they're shaming him about how embarrassing it is that they had to leave work early. Do you get what I'm saying? What the frig ton of negative. No wonder our kids are feeling ashamed of themselves and they feel like they're bad at their core. So for every one negative, we need 10 positive, and knowing your child's love language could really help with that. If you're struggling with communicating with your child in a way that they receive your message, please reach out to me. This is what Warrior Mamas is all about. And even if you're a dad or a grandparent, you can still reach out because I do have programs to help with parents, not just Warrior Mamas. Warrior Mamas is just my absolute passion. It is such a transformational, beautiful program. If this landed with you, I would be really grateful if you could leave me a positive comment and a 5-star review. That would mean so much. And not just because, I need it to counteract my negative, but because when you do that, it helps Apple Podcasts, it helps Spotify, it helps YouTube to push this out so that more people can hear this message. This is the way we change the way the world treats children with ADHD. We share this message. We stop shaming them. We help them overcome their shame. We help ourselves overcome our shame. So if you could leave a 5-star review and a comment, I would be so grateful. So I'm just going to read out what somebody left recently on Apple Podcasts. It says, Lara Dawn doesn't just talk about ADHD, she expands it. The shift from deficit to design lands deeply and immediately challenges the way we've been conditioned to see our children and ourselves. So thank you so much. That's AD and GH. Thank you so much for leaving that comment. That means the world to me. And yes, I live and breathe ADHD. I have it. My children have it. My clients have it. Their children have it. I was a teacher in the school board for 25 years, in special ed for 10. So yes, we need to change the way we think about it. It can be definitely a design. It can be a superpower. And we need to remove the stigma. We need to put the supports in place and really love on these kids hard. You take anything from this podcast today, it's love your kids and extend that love to other kids. It takes a village to raise a child. So imagine if we're all kind and loving to everybody's kids, and they're all kind and loving to our kids, like what a difference it would make. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your review, and I will catch you on the next episode. The future belongs to evolved minds, and we are raising them.